The primer that we use, it's a slow primer, it's a thick primer. You can't use infrared on it. You can bake it, and when you bake that, it dries the top surface, but it's not fully cured. What I like to do is set the booth, 60, 70 degrees. He'll go in there, put his first coat on, just kind of the breakthroughs and whatnot. Let that sit for 15, 20 minutes. Let it really, really tack up where you can just, kind of fingerprint it, but not. And then we kind of hammer on the last couple coats. The whole car doesn't need to have 3 coats, but if there was a problem there, then that does need that extra coat there. So it's just to ensure we got enough millage there to work with in case they didn't get it good enough. So it's always good to communicate with your body man, see where you're at, why'd you break through here? And they'll tell you, they'll be like, hey, can you put 2 extra coats right here? No problem. So we address those areas first, then a couple over the whole car, so that way when we block it, we know we have enough material to work with in the areas that weren't very good. And after those are done, you just kind of put that car aside. Because if it's summertime, you let that car sit out in the sun for a couple days, it'll discolor and it's hard as a rock and ready to go. But being wintertime, anytime it drops below 50 degrees, it's not drying at all. So we try to keep them inside, just put them in the corner of the shop somewhere, let them sit there if we just let them sit there a week is really good, if not, 10 days. That way it's fully cured, so when we go to sand it, we block it, get it ready for that nether prime job. There's no swelling, there's no shrink back, there's no issues. So in the wintertime, it's nice to let those things sit for like 7 to 10 days. When we're doing a solid color, I don't typically seal them. I really don't have any concerns. Doing a metallic, you don't need to, but it is nice just to have that reassurance that you got all your 320 grit scratches out. So on a metallic, I seal it just to be safe. That way, if I see something, I can just go in there, sand it a little bit, and move on. But yeah, all metallics, I'll seal. Solid colors, I really don't.
Will has a few pieces that need final paint on them for Cindy D'Agostino's 1970 Challenger.
Real estate is so valuable here. It's hard to take a car with the deck lids and hoods and parts and pieces and do them at the same time. The deck lids and primer, so I block it out with 320, make sure it's all good and straight. Then after that, we'll guide coat it, and that guide coat lays in the 320 grit scratches. So after that, when I hit it with like 600, when you see all that guide coat gone, it means you got all the 320 grit scratches out. And the thing's finished off in 600 grit, no scratches, should be beautiful. Then at that point, I know I'm safe. So these parts can go in the booth. Once the sealer's on there, I'll take a step back, let it dry, do an overview, make sure we're good to go, and then go right into my color. And I don't have to worry about scratches, because if there were scratches, they'd be in the sealer. So then at that point, you're looking at 7 coats of the purple, 3 coats of clear. His parts are done. They can get cut and buffed, put on his car, then we're done.
This is the FC7 Plum Crazy car.
Plum Crazy's been the same formula from day one. It's the most consistent color we have.
When we painted the body of the car, we had plenty of paint left over to be able to do the hood and the deck lid. But then, somehow, miraculously, we didn't. We didn't have enough.
Throughout the process of Tony's car, I go to mix more paint to shoot these parts. I'm missing a toner, call our supplier, it's discontinued.
One of the toners has been discontinued because it was a lead product.
So they give me a new formula.
Not anything disparaging, but it is not exact.
It's not even close.
And it certainly doesn't match Cindy D'Agostino's car.
So he gets on eBay, finds that toner, we're able to mix it up, get Tony's car all the right color, looking good.
If you're painting the whole car complete, then the new formula with the new toner and it's fine, because it's just a shade difference. You'd really have to have the right one sitting next to it to know it's not right. But when 90% of the car is painted in one color and you come back and paint a hood and a deck lid, 2 of the biggest panels on the car, yeah, it needs to match.